Hey everybody. It's been a while. Once again, Vlog-a-boom has returned after a long hiatus, and there's dust on the camera. Yeah, so I know I keep making essentially the same video where I say that, I haven't made a vlog in a while and haven't had the time, been busy, the whole typical laundry list of reasons why. Busy with work, busy with baby, busy with family, projects and all that, you know. And like I keep saying, I keep wanting to come back and do cool edited vlog videos and all that. And I do have them filmed and ready to cut together. I just have not had the time. And those of you that have kids will understand. My son is 8 months old now, as of recently. It's been a day, man. I'm tired. But I've been thinking about this vlog a lot recently because I want to come back to it so badly. I really do. And I really love making videos and putting them up for you guys to see and documenting my life and all that. But I just don't have the time to do the regular weekly videos. I can't do daily videos. There's no way I can do that. I don't know how anyone on YouTube does daily vlogging. You guys, if you do, you're amazing and I love watching it. I really, really do, but I don't know how you've had the time. I really don't. So I thought, as I was looking at this channel of mine on YouTube the other day, I watched a few of the videos I've made where I just sit here and talk to you guys. And they're not edited at all. They're not polished. They're not the greatest pieces of filmmaking that you've ever seen on YouTube, certainly. But there's something about just, the raw, unedited goodness of just turning on the camera, talking to you guys, and throwing it up on YouTube, and it's done, So I thought, as I find the time to make the official Vlog-a-boom episodes where I edit it real nice with cuts and effects and music and sound and all that, as I'm finding the time to do those things, maybe I can just do these regular videos where I talk to you guys, and maybe make it separate from the main Vlog-a-boom episodes. It won't be in the numbered episodes that are on the, main channel there. These will still be on the same channel, but I think it'll be like a different playlist that'll be called something different, like, I don't know, Camera Talk or Trevor Talks. That works. It's cheesy, but I guess it works, Trevor Talks. That's the new series here. And this is the first episode, I guess. So yeah, I want to do more of these talking videos because they're just easy to do, just turn it on and talk and hit the stop button and then upload it and it's done. There you go, And again, I'll still be doing the edited videos when I can, eventually. I actually have one from this past weekend with a trip to Long Beach with my son and my wife, which was amazing. So I'm excited to edit that together, hopefully this week or next week. Hopefully. So yeah, I guess just to start this off, little update on life. Same job, still working in television and film, still doing QC stuff and all that, Still working on the screenplay that I was working on in the last video. The second draft is almost done. I don't want to say too much about it yet because, I need to make sure it's, copyrighted and registered and all that. So, but yeah, it's a story that I'm really happy and, proud to have on paper finally and all that. That's pretty much it for what's going on in life. So the real reason I wanted to make this particular video today, I want to tell a story about something that actually happened to me. This is a true story. Happened to me when I was a teenager. And it's kind of been swirling around in my head recently. Unfortunately, because I've been reminded of the story of mine because of the recent school shootings that have happened in America. You know, the one in Florida a few weeks back, and the one today in Maryland, unfortunately. Now, before I go into the story, I want this to be very clear. I have never been involved or witnessed a school shooting firsthand. I'm very lucky in that. And so I'm not comparing my experience to anyone who has been involved in these awful situations. I'm not trying to compare myself to them, and I'm not trying to make those tragedies about me. To make that clear. I'm just going to tell a story that... It's a story about something that happened to me as a result of a very well-known school shooting here in America. And the reason I'm telling the story, not because it's easy, not because it's fun, this is a hard story for me to tell. I'm not fabricating the story. I'm not embellishing it. It is actually what happened. And I'm telling it and putting it on my YouTube channel because I think maybe, I don't know, but hopefully it could maybe do some good in the world. I hope. I don't know. I just feel the need to tell the story. Let's just put it that way. And this story needs to be unedited, which makes it appropriate for this video, I suppose. Pardon me for a moment. Gotta prepare for this. Hydration-wise and emotionally. So, back when the Columbine massacre happened, this would have been the late 90s, I was a junior in high school at the time. And I was in San Diego, California, so I was not anywhere near, where it happened, and I certainly wasn't involved, but I do remember how frightening it was to be a high school student at that time. And again, that's not to compare myself or to minimize the experience of the people that were involved, victims or survivors, what have you. I'm not comparing myself to them, and I'm not minimizing their awful experience. But it was terrifying to be an American high school student at that time. The idea that could just happen one day as I walked into school, as we walked into school, It was horrifying. And my school, like presumably every other school in America, did all the quick reactionary measures. They banned black trench coats from the school. They banned certain rock bands' t-shirts and memorabilia, apparel from the school grounds. All the, stupid, useless tactics were taken. So a year later, my senior year, one day during the second semester, I believe, I was about to graduate. One day, I get called into the principal's office. And this very nice lady who worked there, I think she was a secretary or something, but she worked in the principal's office. She says to me that I've been invited to a pizza party. And it was an all-day pizza party for a select group of students. And it was going to be just an all-day, pizza, soda, junk food, kind of just have fun, celebrate the end of the year kind of thing. They made it sound like it was some sort of contest or like raffle that I won or something. Like they just drew some students' names out of a hat and said, "Hey, you want a pizza party for a day at school?" So she asked me, this lady that worked in the office, she asked me if I would go, and I said, "Yeah, sure, why not? Sounds awesome. Sounds fun." And this was several weeks before it happened. So every few days or so, this woman from the office would ask me, "Hey, you still coming to the pizza party? You still going to come?" And I said, "Yeah. I'll come. It sounds great. So they made it sound like it was this fun thing that I was invited to, and that it was just this optional thing, whatever. So, and I was genuinely excited to go. I really did want to. However, the night before, I realized that I actually couldn't go to the pizza party because I had a very important biology test for my biology class that I couldn't miss. I don't remember the exact details, but basically it was one of those things where it was a very big test, not a final, but a big test for biology that I had to take that day because we were using the equipment and materials in the classroom that were only going to be available during class. So, bottom line, I had to be there in class that day to take the test, or else I get a huge F, a huge 0, And there was no way to make it up or take it later or another time. I had to be there or I was screwed, basically. So my thought process was, okay, well, stinks, but I'll miss the pizza party, no big deal, just blow it off, and I'll go to class like normal and take my test, and it'll be fine. So, the next day, I'm sitting in my first period class. We're about 10 minutes into the school day. It just started. Sitting in class, and these two gentlemen walk into the classroom looking for me. And they're from the principal's office, and they come up to me, and they're pissed. They're so mad. And they come up to me, and they say, "You need to come to the principal's office now." And I was like, "Why?" And they said, "Don't ask questions, just come with us now." I said, "All right." So I get my stuff, and I follow them to the principal's office. And as we're passing the front of the principal's office, there's this group of other students, maybe 20 or so, between 20 and 30, let's say. 20 to 30 students out in front of the principal's office. And they're looking at me like wrong words. They're very angry at me. And they're saying like, "Trevor, what the fuck, man? You're making us late. What the hell's wrong with you?" And I'm like, what did I do? Like, what's going on? So I go into the principal's office, and there's the lady that works there who originally invited me to the pizza party. And up until that point, she had always been very friendly, very smiley, very nice, very gracious, and all that. But she's pissed now. She's just as mad as the guys that brought me down there. She's like, "What are you doing? Today's the pizza party. Like, why are you not here? Why are you not? What's going on?" Like, she's yelling at me. She's mad, and I'm like, "Well, I know that I said I would go to the pizza party today, but I figured out that I can't. I have a biology test, a big biology test that I can't miss." And she says, "Well, you said you would go." And I said, "Yeah, I know, I'm sorry, but I have to go to class today to take my test." And she was like, "No, you're not. You're going to the pizza party." And I didn't know what to say. I said, "No, I need to go to my class. I need to do well. I need to do my test." Like, what? No, it's a pizza party. Who cares, And she keeps trying to argue with me. And she won't let it go. And I'm like, what is going on? Like, this person is telling me, this faculty member of the high school is telling me I have to go to this pizza party and I can't go to my class that I need to go to take my test. Oh, man. Hold that thought. Intermission. So this goes back and forth, and she becomes increasingly angrier and angrier, and I'm just more and more confused. And then finally she says, "Well, if you're not going to go, you're going to go talk to the principal." So I said, okay. So she puts me in the principal's office. And the principal of the high school says, so why aren't you going to the pizza party? And I tell him the reason, and he goes, you know what, Trevor, you're going to the pizza party. You're not weaseling your way out of this. You're going to the pizza party. And I said to him, again, I have a test. I can't miss this test. What is hard to understand about this? And again, like, we're going back and forth, and then finally he says to me, he goes, okay, Trevor, I'll make you a deal. This is the principal. I'll make you a deal. You can either go to the pizza party today, or I'll write you a referral. Let's recap. The principal of my high school was threatening to write me up, to write me a referral. The only referral I would have had in my entire school career, because I wanted to go to my class to do my test instead of going to some pizza party. This happened. I'm not making this up. I know it sounds like I'm fabricating this. I am not. This happened. So I said to him, okay, if this is what's going to happen, then you're going to get my mom on the phone now. And we're going to explain the situation to her, and she can tear you a new asshole. I didn't say that last part, but that's how I felt at the time. I said, get her on the phone. She'll sort this out. She'll sort you out, basically. And at that point, he backed off. You know? This is a principal of a high school. So, anyway, it goes back and forth a little bit more, and then finally he says, listen, if we can get your biology teacher on the phone right now and talk to him about this, would you be willing to do that? And I said, okay, sure. So they call my biology teacher up, they explain to him the whole stupid situation, and then they put me on the phone with him. I'm talking to the biology teacher. And thank goodness he was the one adult in this situation that was willing to be at all reasonable. You know? So my biology teacher says to me, he says, hey, Trevor, I don't know what this whole pizza party thing is all about, but the principal is not letting it go. So I guess the only thing we can do is I'll excuse you from the test. You know, it won't affect your grade. Don't worry about it. You'll just get a pass, and, you know, it won't even affect you at all. So just don't take the test. Don't worry about it. Just go to this weird pizza party thing, and we'll just forget the whole thing ever happened. And I said, all right, thanks, man. Appreciate it. This happened like 17 plus years ago, and it still gets me right here. So finally we go off to this pizza party. It's in like some other empty classroom in the school. Now, it turns out we get to this room, again, 20 to 30 or so students, and the principal and the lady who worked there who yelled at me, you know, and all that, and a few other faculty members. We go to this room, and it's full of stacks of pizza boxes, and there's soda and juice and chips and cookies, all kinds of just great junk food crap, you know, that high school kids love. I loved it at the time. So we get into the room, and the principal starts talking. And it turns out that this was not just a pizza party. This was how do I say this? It was an orchestrated event, day-long event, of student community building in response to the Columbine massacre. Basically, the idea was to get students together and do a bunch of community building exercises. I don't even remember what they were exactly, but it was basically just trying to get us to communicate, to express our feelings, to express our emotions, our frustrations, what have you. So it was a whole day of doing these community building exercises. I remember one of them, like, we rolled balls of yarn to each other and said something that we were mad about or something like that. Lots of these little things, the sort of things you would do in group therapy sessions, I guess, I assume that is. And at the same time, they're filling us full of greasy pizza and soda and chips and cookies and crap. Now, despite whatever your opinion is of that situation and that kind of authoritative response, I guess, to a terrible tragedy, I guess there are multiple ways you can look at it. I think, a community building exercise event, maybe that's more effective than just banning black trench coats. Maybe that's more effective than just banning music T-shirts or what have you. But there were a few things that bothered me about it and that have stuck with me. 3 things in particular, actually. One was the dishonesty about it. They advertised this to me and presumably the other students as a pizza party, something that was just going to be fun for a day. And it turned out to be something that was not only mandatory, but something that was very serious. Whether you think it's positive or negative, it was a very serious thing to approach and to deal with. But the truth is, if you disguise it as something that it's not, something that's just fun and just, a pizza party, innocent pizza party, then you're already being dishonest, and you can't build a trusting community on something that's a trick, basically, like tricking students into whatever your plan is. I think there's a positive way to look at, community building in that sense, but it can't be something that we're tricked into. Because if you're deceiving people from the get-go, then that's already the wrong tactic. So that's the first thing. Second thing, it's important to point this out, too. The second thing is this. This was not an event for the entire student body of the school. Again, this was 20 to 30 students who were selected for this event. So I don't know what the intent was behind, which students were selected. I honestly couldn't tell you if it was nefarious in any way or what the thought process was behind selecting the students that were present that day. But the fact is, the people involved in making this event happen, most likely the principal and or his staff, had a list of kids that they apparently thought this event was meant for, Again, I don't know what the intent was. I'm not trying to suggest it was anything nefarious, or positive or negative necessarily, but so I can't say anything about that beyond what I know, which is that they had a list. So it clearly wasn't important that the entire student body was there. It wasn't important, to make sure that the entire student community was privy to this. just the 30 of us that were selected. For whatever reason, we were selected. And for myself, cars are driving by. For myself, I was a good student. I had good grades. I never got into trouble, really. Like, I never did anything, terribly out of the ordinary, I was very involved in school. I was in the performing arts program and all that. So, not that any of that really matters, but I can't think of any reason why I would be selected for something like that, And so that's the second thing that bothered me. The third thing that bothered me, and this is the thing that has stuck with me the most out of this whole insane situation. There was a point during this pizza party where the faculty member that invited me and then yelled at me that day, the woman who worked in the principal's office, she came up to me at one point and she put a hand on my shoulder and she said, "See, Trevor, it's not so bad. It's actually fun, isn't it?" And it was in that comment that I think I became aware of at least a key part of the problem when it comes to students who are frustrated or angry, and maybe even enough to do things they can't take back. Now, I'm not an expert. I'm not a psychologist. I honestly don't know why or what drives a person to pick up a gun or a weapon of any kind and commit murder. I don't know. But I would be willing to bet that at least part of the core problem is that these kids need the right people to be listening. That entire morning before the pizza party, when I was trying to be a responsible student and trying to explain that to the faculty of my high school, and they simply wouldn't listen. Presumably because they thought they were smarter, they thought they were better than me, they thought clearly they had this agenda for this dishonest community building event. Let's just call it what it is. It's dishonest. And even though I was the one trying to do the right thing and trying to be reasonable, they simply would not listen. And it's always stuck with me ever since. I'm sorry the lighting is so bad. But again, I don't know why these shootings happen. We can debate, the typical gun law, debates, and I have my thoughts about that. I'm not going to put them here because this is not what this is about necessarily. But blaming video games and music, just no. I just feel like maybe these kids need people to put aside their egos, put aside their authority, and just put aside what they think is the problem and just fucking listen. It doesn't matter if you're an adult or you're the faculty or you're the teacher or the principal. It doesn't matter if you think you're smarter than the kids or if you're right and they're wrong. None of that matters. What matters is that you listen. Even if you think it's the dumbest thing in the world, even if you think the kid is a fucking idiot, even if you think that what they have to say is wrong. And yeah, murder is wrong. Hurting people is wrong. But you only solve those problems for people if you are willing to be the person to genuinely listen. And stop pushing your agenda. And stop trying to do what you think is right and listen. So anyway, I don't have the answers to this, But maybe by just saying this, I can, maybe by just putting this out in the world, there are cars around here. I'm sorry, I'm in a parking lot. I don't know, maybe by just putting this out into the world, I can illuminate the issue a little bit. I don't know. I hope by telling the story, if you're still listening, that's my thumb, by the way. If you're still listening to this or still watching this, I hope that maybe this can do some good for you, put some perspective into the world. I hope, And I'll just end this video by saying this. And this has been said. That's some good lighting. Thanks, man. Thanks for the good lighting while it lasted. I guess what I'll say here before I lose the daylight completely is, if you're a student or if you're anyone at all who has these feelings of hurting people or needing to kill, needing to hurt, whatever it is, if you're feeling wrong at all, just please, 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 please tell someone. Tell someone that you can trust to listen to you without judging you, without trying to force their ideas and their agenda down your throat, that can just genuinely listen to you, whether it's your parents, your friends, your relatives, your therapists, your teachers, whoever, man. Just find that person that you can tell before you do something you can't take back, Please, we don't need any more of this in the world. And the last thing I want to say is to the teachers, to the educators, to the faculty members, to the parents, to all the adults who have to be adults in these situations. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter if you're smarter or better or stronger or you know what's right and they don't. Man, just listen. Take everything else out of the way and just hear what they have to say. Take the judgment out of it. Take the authority out of it. Take the assertive do-gooder bullshit out of it. Just listen. And maybe it's not that simple. I don't know. But if something as simple as just listening, genuinely listening can make the difference, then maybe that's what matters, Anyway, take that for what it's worth, guys. I'm 35 minutes into this. If you're still watching, I really do appreciate it. And thank you for listening to me tell this story. It feels amazing, honestly, to get this off my chest. I've told the story to friends and family and all that, but I've never put it on the record, really. But here it is. So, again, I hope it did some good for you. And I'll be back with a more fun video soon. So, that's that. Take care of yourselves. love yourselves, do what makes you happy, love your friends and family every day, as much as you can every single day. So, all right, guys. Love to you all. Thanks for watching. Till the next time. Bye-bye.